A former WWE NXT North American Champion makes his AEW debut at the latest set of AEW Dark television tapings. Plus, MJF says if Vince McMahon pays him enough money, he will go to WWE. We have an update on an AEW star returning from injury to in-ring action very soon. And more Owen Hart Cup qualifying matches have been announced. All this and more in today's AEW news. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a great Monday. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling. So let's start off talking about another former NXT star, a former NXT North American Champion making his AEW debut, that being Leon Ruff, who appeared at the latest set of AEW Dark television tapings. Now, former NXT North American Champion Leon Ruff made his AEW debut during Sunday's AEW Dark TV tapings. Now, of course, Ruff signed with WWE in 2020, and during his time with the promotion, he held the NXT North American Championship, but he was released in August of 2021. Since Ruff's release, he's wrestled in GCW, he's wrestled in Terminus, Battleslam Vendetta as well, and obviously the latest set of television tapings for AEW Dark took place, as they always, or most frequently do nowadays, at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Is this going to lead to anything more? I don't know. I really don't. It's very difficult to say, isn't it, with AEW signings at the moment, because there's sort of different tiers to them, right? And the AEW contracts come in different tiers. He would be someone that I would say, and we don't really know what Ring of Honor still really looks like under Tony Khan. Once we have a much clearer update when it comes to where this promotion is going to live, what the situation is going to be when it comes to, the television. Is it going to be on YouTube? Is it going to be on something on Warner Media? Is it going to be on HBO Max? How often are they going to run, pay-per-views or special events? All of it. What is all of it going to look like? I could see Leon Ruff definitely in Ring of Honor. I could see him regularly appearing on AEW Dark. As far as, AEW Dynamite or Rampage, as I've said several times, and it's becoming more and more and more evident that this is definitely the case, is Dynamite and Rampage, that is premier real estate. That even some really, really, really talented, and Leon Ruff's talented obviously, but really talented and high-profile names struggled to get on. People went crazy a couple of weeks ago when Jeff Hardy or the Hardy Boys were on AEW Dark Elevation. And the reason why is because it's difficult to get them on the show. They've signed people like Keith Lee, like Swerve Strickland, and they struggle to get them on the show. They've been largely appearing on Rampage, which is a lesser viewed show. So whilst it's great that he's going to be on Dark, and I think it improves that program in the sense that sometimes some of the matches you see on Dark can be a little bit tough to watch, and these are sometimes talents that aren't particularly ready for prime time, or they're just squash matches for some main roster, I say main roster, but sort of people that will regularly appear on Dynamite to make sure they keep the crowd there happy and make sure that they do a decent number on YouTube. But do I expect Leon Ruff to be a regular in AEW going forward? I mean, he might appear maybe on like a Rampage or something like that. But Dynamite itself, I'd be very surprised. People, like I said, you get people like, the House of Black. And I don't know when the last time they had a match on Dynamite was. Or say Alistair, when they had an actual singles match. Malachi Black, sorry. I forgot his name for a second there. Malachi Black, because of so many names. Malachi Black had a singles match on Dynamite. I can't remember the last time that was. There were plenty of talents there that you look at and go, man, when are they going to, what's going to happen there? So it could be a one-off. We've seen other names from other companies appear at those TV tapings. We also saw Jake Something from Impact Star. I'm going to talk more in depth about that in today's Impact video. At the TV tapings, we've seen Rohit Raju appear at the tapings as well. So all of them obviously hope it leads to something, no doubt about it. They hope that it leads to them having a full-time contract with AEW, or at least a contract with AEW, or whatever. It could just be for the TV tapings. I'm assuming at the moment it probably is just for the TV tapings. Leon Ruff, I'm going to be honest, I think he's a decent worker. They gave him a shot in WWE. He definitely isn't what they're looking for now. Could he fit into the AEW roster? Sure, but that roster is so crowded, so crowded. I do think he's better off doing what he's doing right now, whether it's appearing for shows for GCW. I think him going to Impact would actually really benefit him in the X division. I think he would work really well there. Just that AEW roster's tough. That's very, very tough right now. So we'll see what happens when it comes to Leon Ruff going forward in AEW. Let's talk about MJF, because MJF is doing MJF things, talking about his contract and teasing that he could go to WWE in the future, which I do believe. Now, MJF was in the UK, my home country, this past weekend, appearing at the For Love of Wrestling convention that took place in Liverpool, hosted by Monopoly Events. The event, which is similar to that of WrestleMania Access, saw the Salt of the Earth enter the ring for a Q&A session. Now, the three-time Dynamite Diamond Ring winner further addressed rumors about his future. Of course, MJF's AEW contract is due to expire in January of 2024, amid interest from WWE and amid interest from, MJF himself, talking openly that he would consider a WWE offer, or whoever pays him the most, that's where he's going. He's not being shy about it. This is what he said, quote, "I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but on January 1st of 2024, I'm going to be a free agent. Who here would want to see me in WWE? So let me explain something to you people. I did not get into this business to make any of you happy. I got into this business to make as much money as humanly possible. And if Vincent Kennedy McMahon is willing to shell out more money than my good friend Tony Khan, then yes, I would go to WWE." So, look, he's been saying this several times. He did the interview with Ariel Helwani, which did get him some heat. We got in the argument with Tony Khan. Wasn't necessarily about the subject matter in the interview, it must be said, of him talking about his contract, because, again, that's what MJF just basically does. It was more of a case of he didn't go through the AEW communications department or PR department when organizing that interview, which I think is fair from Tony Khan's perspective to say, look, you have to follow the rules. I don't care what you talk about. Just, make sure there's a PR person there, because that's how it works here. You have to always follow the rules. Do I expect MJF to go to WWE? I don't think he's lying when he's saying if WWE made him a good offer, then he would go. I think that Cody Rhodes' return to WWE is proof that people are willing to go from one company to the other. I think, again, Cody Rhodes' experience in WWE is going to be crucial to these big stars in AEW if they would be willing to go to WWE. And it's just funny how these things work out, because there was a period of time last year, particularly around the spring and the summer, that WWE, when they were releasing all of these talents, and talent weren't willing to extend their contracts as well, in the case of people like Adam Cole, the feeling was that they were just creatively so naive, WWE, and they were locked in the past, and they had no creative freedom, and the morale was really low and all that kind of stuff. And you would go to AEW and you would be creatively fulfilled and you would have creative freedom and all that kind of stuff. So talent would be interested in going to AEW and all that kind of stuff. And now we're in the spring of 2022, and the feeling now kind of is well, but you can go to WWE and they make concessions and you can still make money. And look, if Cody Rhodes wins the WWE Championship, which I think is a really, really, really good chance that he does, and is making a lot of money and treated like a star in WWE, which he is right now. Again, things can and will change, but people in AEW will be taking notice. They'll say, well, actually, maybe WWE isn't as bad as it's made out to be, and maybe I can go there and make money. And I'm sure MJF will think the exact same thing. I don't think he's lying when he's saying, I'll go where they pay me the most money. The reason he's doing all of this is to stoke and fan the flames of a bidding war when his contract comes up, and there will be one. WWE will 100% be interested. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think MJF's as disloyal as he's making out, or much of a mercenary, shall we say, as he's making out by saying, I'll just go where the money goes. I think it's a situation whereby he's essentially saying, look, I would probably prefer to stay in AEW, obviously, because that's where my bread is buttered, that's where I'm comfortable, that's where I do have this creative freedom that I might not get in WWE, because he doesn't have history in WWE like Cody Rhodes does. But I think he's also trying to say, look, but I want to get paid. I want to get paid what I think I'm worth. And if I don't, I will go to WWE. And that's basically what happened when it comes to Cody Rhodes. He wanted to get paid more, obviously. He wanted to get paid what he felt he was worth. He wanted to have parity with those people that came in after him that were on bigger contracts, people like CM Punk, people like Bryan Danielson. Tony Khan said no. Either it's because he didn't feel Cody was worth that much, or because he has a budget and he says, I can't do that. We don't have the budget to do that. He gave WWE a call. They said they'd be willing to pay him what he wanted, and he went there. And that could be a similar situation when it comes to MJF. People have to realize those AEW originals, when they signed with AEW in 2019, that was before all of the Warner Media money really started to come in. So that Warner Media money has allowed Tony Khan to sign some of these bigger players. But those people that signed initially in 2019 are still on somewhat lower contracts. People like Chris Jericho said they signed the biggest contract of their career, and I assume that is the case. But people like MJF, they weren't the biggest known property at the time. They'd been in MLW and had a bit of a buzz on the indie scene, but certainly not on a global television scale like they are now. So, of course, he'll want a raise, and he deserves a raise. It's just a case of if AEW is going to give him what he wants, or if WWE says, well, we'll give you what you want. If AEW won't, we'll give you what you want, and then I think he'll go. So we'll have to wait and see. Keep an eye on that one. Now, Rio, the first ever AEW Women's World Champion, is set to return from injury very soon, by all accounts. It looks as though former AEW Women's Champion Rio will be making her return to AEW soon. According to the Midwest Marks podcast, Rio confirmed on her subscribers-only blog that she is healed up and will soon be returning to the United States to resume touring with All Elite Wrestling. Now, Rio's injury took place in the AEW Women's Championship title match against the champion at the time, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, at Battle of the Bouts in January. Now, reports indicate that she suffered a broken collarbone early in the match, but worked through the entire match without any complaints. Now, during her time recovering, Rio traveled back to Japan so she could be in a more familiar setting. It was expected that a full recovery would take close to 3 months, so that time frame fits with the report that she is on her way back. So we'll have to wait and see as to when she comes back. I would say the only concern is that it's been a couple of times that she has been injured over the course of the last few years. Rio's a good worker. I know some people have issues with the Joshi style in AEW and all that kind of stuff, and people have issues with the AEW women's divisions, which I think are very valid. I've beat that drum for a really long time. I felt that they had made significant progress, but I feel like that progress is really starting to stagnate once again, and we're getting to that point where it is just the token women's match per show, and there hasn't been really any evolution from there. I had hope of them signing people like Ruby Soho, like Toni Storm, but again, I've not really seen anything to say that there is much evolution there. And in comparison to WWE, they've got women's feuds that aren't even about titles at this point. Do WWE over-rely on the 4 horsewomen? Absolutely. And outside of that, are they very good at creating new stars? No, but they still have, in my opinion, the best women's division in the world. In my opinion, again, we could say North America, Stardom, whatever, but AEW still has a really long way to go when it comes to all of that, in my opinion. Finally, some new Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament qualifying matches have been announced during Sunday's AEW Dark TV tapings. Tony Schiavone announced a new men's Owen Hart tournament qualifying match. The announced match is Rey Fenix versus Dante Martin. Of course, Fenix made his AEW return last week on Dynamite. The 8-man and 8-woman tournaments are scheduled to kick off on May 11 at the AEW Dynamite taping from the UBS Arena in Long Island, New York. The finals will then be held at AEW Double or Nothing on May 29, where Dr. Martha Hart will also be there live to present the Owen Cup trophy to the winners of the respective tournaments. The next men qualifying match, Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Fish, will take place this Wednesday on Dynamite, which should be a lot of fun. As to who wins that one, I would assume Jeff Hardy, but we did see Kyle O'Reilly win his tournament qualifying match, so who knows, but I would assume Jeff Hardy will qualify for that one and hopefully goes quite far. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on today's AEW news stories in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestle News 365. Super thanks are also available, so if you do want to contribute to the channel, you can do so by clicking the thanks button, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.